today has been a super long day. Hope all of you had an amazing day. I'm at the studio right now at 2 a.m. I just got done with a lot of stuff. My staff was super busy today putting together kits for tomorrow. I came in about 7 p.m. and worked on eclairs this evening and made all the eclairs and filled them. We'll dip them in chocolate tomorrow. Just finished cleaning up the dishes and everything. Also, you'll see behind me, did a bunch of gingerbread houses, haunted gingerbread houses for tomorrow. We have quite a few orders, which is super awesome. I'll add more to this tomorrow. I was going to record this evening. It's Thursday. But I'm going to go home and sleep for a few hours because I am pretty dead tired and need to get a few hours of sleep so that I can function tomorrow. Sure hope you guys are all having a wonderful day, and we'll see you later.
Crazy week this week. So last week I gave you the update on me being sick and my test coming back negative for COVID-19. Super awesome. And then getting into this next week. So I had some big things going on this week. I, of course, had to postpone my eclair orders from last week. And so then I'm doubling up on that this week. But then also I have another cake for the Salt Lake City airport. I am so stoked about this. There's a little bit of backstory here and a good example of marketing and advertising here. So my aunt, Kathy, who worked for Delta for years and years and years, and she used to work for me at my shop, and she took some of my brochures up to the Salt Lake airport like a year ago during, initial stages or middle stages of construction, and just kind of planted a seed up there. And when it came time for them to order a cake for their celebrations, I got ordered the one for their first flight out of the Terminal 1, where Delta is. And then this next Tuesday, I get to make a cake for the other terminal that houses all of the other airlines. I'm super stoked about this, not only just because it was a good success business-wise, but these cakes are like my passion, the things that I love to do. I love to make these cakes. My assistant Katrina that I work with is just amazing, and I couldn't do this without her, and her and I are just such a good dynamic duo to get things done, and I really appreciate what she's done and helped in my business over the years. But these cakes are so much fun, and probably the biggest payoff is delivering the cake and having people see it for the first time, and they're just like, whoa, that's so cool. And I love that. I love that response that people get. It's one of the reasons I like my cake studio here. When people come decorate their own cakes, people get to create something. And there's so much joy in creation, in creating. I mean, no matter what it is, if you create a piece of art, create a piece of food, create a software program, create anything, just the process of creating something is just so invigorating, and I love it. And so that's this week with that going on. But it's interesting with all the crazy stuff going on and just being busy. That is sometimes when stuff hits the fan sometimes, right? And that has definitely happened this week. So today is Saturday, early in the morning, about 6:30 a.m., and I'm here working on some projects and getting going on this cake, the airplane cake, and a few other things, and making some more eclairs. And so let me tell you about my day yesterday. So first off, on Thursday night, I came in to make all the eclairs for my orders on Friday, and so I came in super excited to make eclairs. I love making eclairs. I love baking, and I came in and I made my first recipe of eclairs, and my bread flour must have been expired because my whole recipe, boom, done. I couldn't use it. Luckily, I knew that it was a bad recipe and I needed to throw it out before I added the, 24 eggs or whatever it was to it. And so I'm glad that I noticed that. And then my second time around, I had some moisture issues, and which goes to show you might want to do a small test recipe, especially when it's baking, when it's in a new oven, in a new kitchen, different times of the year. You might want to do a test recipe just to make sure. And it was my own fault of just being busy. And normally, in the recipe for pâte à choux, for eclairs and cream puffs, the same dough that you make for those, you can also make churros out of it. For that, you mix it together, and maybe I'll do a video on that in the future. That'd be fun. You mix everything together, and then you add your eggs in at a certain point, and you add your eggs in one at a time, and sometimes you put more or less eggs in depending on the consistency of your batter or your dough. So I was mixing it through, and I was super confident that my recipe that I made, that I always make, would just turn out perfectly in this kitchen, new kitchen, like everything different than my past kitchen. And they didn't turn out either. It was a disaster. It was horrible. I laugh about it now because I look back at it and I'm like, okay, some good learning experiences, move on, whatever. And so I made that second batch. I was able to use a few from that batch, but most of them were just too moist, too flat after I took them out of the oven, and they didn't work so well. So then I made a third batch. Voila, perfect. Everything turned out amazing. Got those all done, was here till 2:30 in the morning on Thursday, and then went home and slept for 4 hours, came back at 6:30 a.m., filled and dipped all the eclairs, and then went to my full-time job and worked at my full-time job during the day. And then my employees came in and packed everything together for orders. And also on Thursday night I made 16 gingerbread houses, the haunted gingerbread houses that we're doing for Halloween right now. And I put those together, and then they boxed them up, and everything was great. So 2 p.m. on Friday, I get done with my full-time job, and I head over here to my studio, start packing things up for deliveries. To add to injury a little bit, I opened my door in my car to load stuff up, and my pink glass, tall, pretty cake stand comes falling out of the car and just shatters everywhere. I'm like, oh, great. Anyway, it was kind of funny, but whatever. And then I come in the studio, continue loading stuff up, and then I'm loading everything up, and I realize when I'm looking at my reporting system that the report that I pulled to see how many eclairs were ordered incorrectly reported it to me. And so I made 18 boxes of eclairs, and there were supposed to be 27. Yeah, it was horrible. I just wanted to crawl into a corner. I was like, really? How in the world did that happen? It never happens. And so you usually double check and triple check all those line items in there. But the reporting was a little bit wonky. Anyway, so I guess it goes to show that even good software programs that you use in your business, make sure you double and triple check, because you never know. It might be giving you slightly the wrong information. So next time I will be a little bit more thorough, even though I already double and triple check. So anyway, so I had to call 9 of the people, of the customers that ordered, which was really hard and a really hard thing for me to do, because not only to have to call and disappoint a customer, and of course, I told people that I would make them again and have them available for Saturday today for them to pick up. So I wasn't telling them I was not going to ever do them. But if you look back a week ago, I had already postponed it a whole week because I was sick last week. So both of those things on top of each other, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to call and disappoint people. And so and the tough part of it is I had to choose which 9 people, and that, it's a tougher decision than one might think, because who do you leave out? And so what I decided to do is I had a bunch of other pickup orders for haunted gingerbread houses and DIY cake kits and cupcake kits, and some of them ordered those plus eclairs. And so I had to fulfill all those orders. Also deliveries. I was only doing deliveries one day because I'm not able to do deliveries today. And so all the delivery orders and anybody picking up that had other things in their items. And so I had to call the other people on my list and do that. And luckily, I'm going to throw in a little something extra for them, just so that they can, just as a little bonus. They don't know. I'm probably going to do like an extra eclair in each box or something, because I just want my customers to have amazing experiences. That's something I've talked about to my employees from the very beginning, is I want my customers to have amazing experiences. And the second that something disappointing like that happens, that's where people's experiences and bad experiences come in with businesses. And I want to be a positive and a help in people's lives, and hopefully we don't have issues in the future. So anyway, I had a bit of a rough day yesterday, but it was interesting because, you hit things in your life sometimes, especially business, where you have disappointments. It's part of life. I mean, in my first video, or maybe my last video, I was talking about how my wife always says, or it's from a podcast or something that she listened to, that life is 50-50. And most things are 50-50. And I so believe that. Like, there's disappointments all the time. And I think the thing that they're there for us is to keep us in check, really, I think. Because if everything was just like cupcakes and rainbows and wonderful every day, like, I don't think things would be that enjoyable, to tell you the truth. I think those hard times, those downs, the disappointments, the disasters, those kind of things, they keep us in check. But those disasters, those things that happen, those frustrations, like, the moment they happen, you just kind of want to throw in the towel and be done, right? And you're like, all right, I'm done. Especially when frustrations are stacked on top of each other. Because oftentimes things come in like strings, right? You'll have like one thing happen. Like, for instance, I had my failed recipe of eclairs, another failed recipe of eclairs. I was behind schedule on my overall like task list for this week. Didn't get very much sleep. Woke up the next day, and then, when I came back to the studio, had more disasters. My cake stand broke. All those things stacked up on each other. And I think, sometimes that can be really, really hard. And it was hard to deal with. But as I was driving around for 4 hours, delivering everything from the furthest, southwest in Payson to the farthest northwest in West Jordan, up in Salt Lake, delivering desserts everywhere. And as I was driving around, I was really thinking about it and thinking, okay, what can I learn from this experience? What can I learn? And I think that's the important thing that all of us need to say, is just take a moment and say, you know what, this really sucks. This is horrible. But what can I learn from the situation to help me be a better person, so that at the next time I face frustration, I can maybe face it a little bit better. And I love that. It's like changing how you think about it, and I really like that a lot. And so I was trying to think about how I was feeling, what I want to feel, and how I want to deal with situations. And it helped a lot to sit there and analyze it. And so now, a day later, I can look back at it yesterday and be like, yeah, it was a horrible day, but I can laugh about it. It's fine. Life goes on. Nobody's dead. Like, we're fine. We'll figure it out. Anyway, that's some of my thoughts from yesterday. Let's see. Other than that, I just wanted to really update everybody on how things are going. I would love, I know I haven't had too many views on here because I don't have any subscribers. Well, not any. You 49, 50 subscribers out there, thank you so much. You are a strong few. I really appreciate it. It's much better to have that than 0. And I really appreciate it, whether you watch my videos or not. But those out there, if you do come across this video, put in the comments any questions, those kind of things. I love sharing my journey. I'll share more of this in the future of what I have going on. And I want to do some future videos on my studio, what it is, how I came up with the concept, why I came up with the concept, and kind of the experience along the lines with that. Please hit the like button, please comment, please let me know what's going on and what questions you have, what you'd like to see in future videos. I'd love to hear what people would like to see. And those of you watching that aren't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel if you're interested in anything to do with cake and desserts and running a small business, running a food-based business, all those kind of things. Those are types of things I'm going to be talking about in the future. I'm also going to start a podcast hopefully within the next few months, and we'll see how that goes. So stay positive, keep smiling, and we'll see you later. Peace out.